another episode of Polite as Fuck.
If
Happy
you're just
Wednesday.
tuning in, this is probably the most chaotic episode you'll ever hear.
Ever be a part of. This is just wild. What are we doing this week?
Well, it might look, if you're watching on YouTube, it might look like we're going to wait for a guest, but we're actually going to do a live reaction to a video that we recorded last weekend when we were camping.
Well, our lives have just been so crazy, as we kind of talk about. And we were like, we're just going to reset with camping trip. And then as we're preparing for the camping trip, we started like brainstorming an idea of possibly recording while out in the wild. And we brought all of our stuff and did it. And it was interesting to say the least. So then we thought, you know what would be a cake topper to all of this is if we played back what we did and kind of walked you guys through it, because I feel like you need some sort of like map to figure out what the fuck is happening. It's just, you know, rustic Ellie and Erica.
And we haven't seen it. We haven't listened to it. We've like heard, we watched like a little bit back and we were like, we cannot just upload this as an episode because it doesn't make any sense. And it's
I'm trying to like find the right words to describe it. It's an indescribable.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
I feel like when you disconnect, like, and you go out into nature, you just like kind of become goofy and you're like, whatever. And you're not, what is inhibitions? You have no inhibitions.
Yeah. Like you just lose all sight of everything
because you're not worried about what's going on around you. You're just being yourself. And then when we recorded that, when you really capture that, you're like, wow, there's no wonder why people record in a studio without things going on around them. Maybe they haven't taken chocolates before that like might interfere with
talking and being human. It was honestly so serene. I'm so glad we had this camping trip planned like way far in advance because it was like it came at the perfect time. And I was so glad to be able to spend like 3 days out in nature, basically. Yeah. I do feel like when I had envisioned recording out in nature, I don't know if you guys have seen or if you've seen like the clips on, sometimes they pop up on my Instagram reels or like on your, whatever you call that feed, for you page. Yeah. Of like more of like the adventure guys that are out there with those like small little mics and they're like sitting by a river and they're just like talking about biology or some shit. I thought in my mind, I was like, oh, we're going to like, you know, really do it. You know, like this is really deep guys. We are on the other side of the mountain. Howling with the wolves, it feels like just absolute chaos. And also, we didn't really talk about this, and I want to bring it up, is like camping with around like other people. I feel like this is the first time that we've done a camping trip before, and it was very, very
secluded.
Yeah, very secluded. And this time it was not so secluded, and it was just a different experience. But camping overall is fantastic. I mean, I highly recommend it for anybody who hasn't done it yet.
But yeah, I feel like we should have known. It was a holiday weekend. It should have taken us 3.5 hours. It took us 7 to drive there.
Yeah.
It was a journey.
Yeah.
But it was much needed, and I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
Should we dive in?
Let's dive in. Good luck, guys.
Okay, so if you're just listening to the audio, we don't know how this is going to sound for you. It might be better to hop on YouTube and watch because then you'll see the crazy.
Like I said, we're much better in face to face, not in person because we're not. We're
much better in face,
in your face.
All right,
let's start it.
Here we go.
Just games.
Wrapping around toes. She ran. She would snap. Okay, I just have to give context really quick because we had the dogs with us, and because there were people in the campsite, they couldn't just like run around and do their thing. So when we sat down to record this, Ellie decided to wrap the leash around her toes.
Like the loop of the leash went around my big toe as I'm sitting crisscross applesauce as we're about to start the episode. And I think that was just the start.
Yeah. So this is me saying you're going to rip your toes off if she runs away.
Yeah, but I would be able to. There's a science.
Oh no.
What did I say? If this ain't camping, I don't know what is.
Fuck. Is that what I said to say?
Yeah.
I feel like you said it better last time.
When I didn't know I was being recorded. Okay.
Pull it together, girls.
Welcome to
Everybody.
These are our normal outdoor voices.
These are normal outdoor voices, which are opposite to our.
Because sorry guys, this is just so funny. I was having an issue with my voice.
At least a loud talker.
I'm a loud talker, so I was really trying to not be super loud, and I ended up just like
She was like, hi. I was like, Ellie, you can't talk that way. I can't even hear you.
and so you saying like this is our normal outdoor voice cracks me up. Okay.
Indoor voices, which is loud and obnoxious. Now we're trying to be quiet and what's the opposite of obnoxious?
Quiet and calm.
Calm in a setting that's outdoors.
Because we were at a campground and there's literally a mother and child 2
Right
feet
behind
away.
us. And the flies are ridiculous. Anyways, we just thought it would be fun to record this week while out in this.
Oh my God.
We're 0.5 seconds in and this is what's happening.
This is not your normal voice.
When you keep calling it out like that.
Sorry, okay.
I don't
Wow,
know.
Ellie sassy. Damn, bitch.
It's just so
Fuck.
quiet.
I said it was the opposite.
Okay, you're right.
I'm not loud and obnoxious.
Not a lot of obnoxious.
Quiet and calm.
We are camping.
Oh, there's
Going
Luna.
going into our third night.
Why don't you talk? Why don't we start? How did this trip start?
What
Chaos.
is the holiday we're celebrating?
Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, I know, but I was talking more so of like
like
I'm sassy.
You're not?
I'm a bitch. I mean, no, not. I mean, the camping trip. How did it start? Wow.
I didn't think that.
Yeah, I'm thinking it. Sassy as fuck. Also, Luna, she's the star of the show.
Her little ears. She's so
Like,
cute.
Sizes.
The flies, I just gotta say, and we're probably gonna talk about it again because it was insane.
Like all the
Just
time.
all over. So that's why we're swatting around constantly because there's bugs. in our
It just
faces.
brings a level of fun into it.
how did
Friday.
Yeah.
well, exciting life update. I am unemployed.
I did just forget about that.
And so on Thursday got laid off, which was like surprising but not.
Yeah.
Like I've joked.
Like I can't even I'm not even focusing on what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I just got laid off, and both of us are just looking at Luna right now.
I don't even think I processed what you said. I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I lost a job. Okay, I think it was because it was like the forefront of what your mind, like what was on your mind of like
Yeah.
what we were dealing with for this camping trip. And that's why I thought we were trying to, we were really trying to be professional and come at it.
We were
of,
trying to
like,
be so like deep. And
so deep and
thoughtful.
just like, let's just talk about all of these things that are happening in our lives. And you're going on something serious and all. I'm just like, and Luna over here is great.
Anyway, I lost my job. That's what I'm saying in this clip. That was right before we left. It was a really great time for us to go camping. If you're in tech, sorry about it.
I've made the comments multiple times of like I could be laid off at any minute, and I'm just trying to hold on as long as I can. But I wasn't expecting it to be me. You know?
Yeah.
I think that was like, if I was going to be laid off, it was because like the company was like closing or something.
Yeah.
Not because
I don't think you're
they
listening.
changed six people on the marketing team and said we're restructuring.
Yeah.
It just
Literally. Yeah. I've not heard a single word you said.
I can tell by your face.
I
Like
know.
there's nothing going in. It's just going straight
I'm
through.
trying to focus, but the flies are ridiculous. And I think at this point, the kids started like crying, or I think somebody walked by. Also,
Yeah.
I did not think about how I would feel setting up a camera facing us in our tent with pink chode microphones as like all these people are walking by us. I was just like so in my head.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't
like-
have to see them because I was facing away, which was helpful.
Yeah.
Since you were facing towards the camp, you saw people walking by,
Yeah.
which I think made you more aware.
How did you feel? Wait, can we talk about the baby and child, or should we wait until the end to
We can talk about it.
Oh, okay.
This woman hated her husband. Sorry, do you want to give context?
So there was this couple, and they're like, what, probably like 6-7 month old child, maybe even like older than that, in the like campsite next to us, and they were just so interesting. The mom, they had like sent up this massive tent, and obviously like a kid is going to be a kid and cry and whatever. The mom was talking to this 7-year-old as if like 7-month-old, as if it was 7 years old. And she'd be like, yeah, battery, that's a battery. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then she would be having full-blown conversation with her kid, and then the husband would go and like, oh, what do you want for dinner? That's fine. I said, how's Joan? I was so irritated. What happened
for him? I felt bad.
I felt bad, but I also was just like, why are you talking to your child like that? I don't think he understands half of the things that you're saying. And then I get like you talk to your kids, whatever, you're being a great mom, but they had like needed their keys. We were very close and could hear everything. And also
in their camp.
yeah. And also we like manipulated like our chairs to we were bored and wanted to watch television, and they became our television show. And the like Spanish people that were in the other site next to us. Anyway, what were like her keys were like in her bag, or like he was trying to find something. What had happened?
Yeah. I think it was the keys. And then he had like come over near us where his like their stuff was laid out, like their bins and stuff. I hadn't seen him look in there. And then he came back and he was like, I'm not sure where they are. And then she goes over there and she's like, did you check the backpack? And he was like, yeah. And then she was like, it's called checking the pockets or something
and like
that.
pulls it out. Or she was like, it's right here. And he's like, oh, I didn't see them. And she was like, it's called checking the pockets. And then went back to having her conversation with her child. I was like, wow.
It felt like he just couldn't win. Anything he did was just like wrong, which I just experienced this.
Yeah. Should you give that life update?
Yeah, sure. I went on, I won't even say I've been seeing this guy. We went on a few dates. And he invited me over to his house. Everything we've done up until then had been out and about, which was good.
And he seemed like a good guy, like
Yeah.
worthy of the time,
Mhm.
I'd say.
Yeah. He seemed like really secure in himself. He was like making the plans, which like is a rarity. And anyway, I go over there and like everything I did, he was like, why are you doing that? Why are you wearing, like I had jeans on because I had just been out all day. I came home for 30 seconds to go on a walk with Ellie, went back in my car, drove over to his house. Like I wasn't at home just chilling. So
Like,
I had an
literally
outfit on.
Had a life in a day.
Yeah. And then I go over there and I sit on the couch and he's like, why are you wearing jeans on the couch?
But also like your outfit was cute.
It was really
Like you were
cute.
not going over there in sweats. Like you put on an outfit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
And then he was like, I had my shoes on because I had literally just walked in and the couch was right by the door. And then I sat down. So then he was like, why do you have your shoes on? I was like, okay, I'll take them off. Then I had to go to the bathroom later in the evening. And apparently I had to shut the door. It was just like everything I did, I didn't do it the right way or the way he wanted it to be done.
Like constantly like questioning.
Yeah.
Or having some sort of comment with like every move that you made.
Yeah.
Which is so annoying. But what gets me is like that he was still trying to like cuddle up with you.
Yeah, he was like rubbing my arm. He was like holding me on the couch, and I'm just like,
Which is scary.
yeah,
Like, that's weird. Like, why are
Yeah.
you gonna try to? Anyways, it's a mind game, mind fucker, and I don't like it.
I don't either. So then I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, I'm gonna leave after the movie was over. And so he's walking me to my car, and he's on my left side, my car's on my right side. So I open the passenger side door and throw my stuff in because I don't know, I'm gonna hug him goodbye. Maybe we're making out. I don't know what's about to happen. And then he's like, why are you opening your door? Like, why are you opening that door? I'm just like, I literally was like, I'm just living, man. I don't know what to tell you. And then literally right after that, he was like, you parked on the curb. And I'm just like, for fuck's sake. And then I get in my car and he's like, you're just leaving? And I'm like, yeah. And then I zoomed away and sent a voice message to Ellie because I was so mad.
I literally was like, this is a skit. This is a comedy skit. This isn't real. I'm like, it's almost unbelievable of like how many times he was like, why are you doing that? Are you really doing that? Why did you do that? And then for you to call him out on it, and then you be like, I'm just living, I don't know what your issue is. And him be like, okay, well, you also parked on the curb. Like to turn around and say another thing. Oh, I would have slapped him.
But it was like even more bizarre that I'm like, you're expecting me to like stay and hang out with you? Like when he was like all like butthurt about me leaving. I'm like, you don't make it seem like you want me here.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like he really showed his true colors. And I also feel like, how can you be, as I told Erica, I feel like people are pretty good, like both guys and girls are pretty good with like seeing red flags after like a few dates.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he didn't really seem like this kind of like super controlling person.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go over and now all of a sudden he's like, I don't know. It just seemed really weird. It seems like, I feel like serial killer is a little too far off. Like, I don't think he's a killer, but I also just feel like, how can you go from one person to another person at the drop of a hat? After only like, no, I don't know. It just seemed like.
What do you mean one person to another person?
I just feel like if you're so particular about certain things and always going to be questioning somebody, why aren't you like that outside? But as soon as someone gets into your house, you turn into like this complete asshole.
Yeah.
It's just like, that is weird. I'm just kidding. Well, sort of. Anyway,
I experienced a small blip, and I don't know why they're still together if that's what's happening, because I could not do that.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah, same. So good. Hope they're doing well.
You'll probably hear them. Let's carry on.
The people who didn't get laid off.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's
Also, look at her face. She's just snarling. This is why we have to be in controlled settings, because this is the most chaotic recording.
I literally wonder if that's all.
It is.
It's all that we see is her eating flies.
I'm literally talking about losing my job.
Oh, no.
Thanks for the reenactment, Ellie. That was nice.
Also, hope you guys like are picking up what we're saying. Not
If you
English.
made it this far, thanks for listening.
2 minutes in.
Wow.
Wow, I
Well-
haven't cried about being laid off yet, but I'm crying right now because that was so funny.
Still haven't.
Oh my god. Okay.
Anyway, we can have a whole other episode on unemployment, but then Friday, we were gonna go camping, and it worked out because I didn't have to go to work because I didn't have a job.
We did.
And my life has been fucking crazy that on Thursday I was like, I'm just not going in. So on Friday I didn't even go to work. So that's how we were like, cool. kick
What?
off this
We're gonna go.
camping trip.
The moral of the story is we didn't have to work on Friday, so we left what we thought was early. We left by 1
Yeah.
to drive through.
You know what's crazy to me? We gave this story at the beginning of this episode in 60 seconds. This is taking us so long to get through. When we edit this, we're probably cutting out some of this. So
But also, what? Also, wait, hold up. Look at my face. I am the most rudest person. Why do you not turn to me and say, fix your motherfucking face?
it's not frozen like that.
God, I'm so
you look very
upset.
like confused.
Yeah, I am. I'm like, I'm really trying to focus, and now after taking all this shit, I'm really not here, and now I have to be here. So, okay.
It was actually really horrible timing. Like we shouldn't have. We took more right before we recorded, and then we sat down and
because
then
I
we're
thought
like,
it would be like I don't know,
having epiphanies or something,
Yeah.
like really deep
conversation.
Maybe we do. I don't know.
LA, which we like knew there was going to be traffic,
Yeah.
but this was just insane. Actually, before then we went to Walmart.
Yeah.
which was
Okay, even before, okay, so we're like, okay, not working, whatever, perfect, we'll go shopping. Because we literally hadn't even gone shopping for this camping trip yet. We decided to go to Walmart, which Walmart reminds us both of home. And if you're from Nevada, you know what we're talking about. Anyway, we walk into the Walmart and it is
just
like,
Nevada.
chaos. It is like so many people.
It was
anxiety inducing.
It was, and there was just like the dumbest shit. Like
was laughing so hard.
the first thing that you see when you go into this Walmart is the fruit, and we needed to get fruit, but the first thing that was available was a cucumber. So this big basket cart, and all that's in there is a singular cucumber, and it was just like that was
literally
the start
rolling
of
around.
experience.
There was like some like too young to be married couple
fighting over soup. She was like, the single packs are over there. The single packs are over there. I'm not trying to make your life harder. I was just trying to tell you that the single packs are over there. And I was just like, oh.
I was just standing there, jaw like on the floor watching.
And then, did you guys know that they have Walmart radio? Because that was,
yeah.
Shocking. Walmart radio. They've really come up.
yeah,
Since-
there was like a whole bunch of weirdness mixed into that. Oh my God.
The checkout line. They didn't have bags, so we had to buy a reusable bag.
Yeah.
that was
Wild.
expensive. And
I had to park like 4 miles away, so we had to walk to the parking
some
spot.
guy was like fully. Did you see him when we were walking in, like detailing every inch of his car? He had like so many.
Oh, like cleaning supplies laid
Yeah.
out? Yeah, I did see that. Anyway,
Interesting.
Walmart.
If you haven't been to a Walmart recently, would recommend. If you still shop at Walmart, I hope it's not as traumatic every time.
Every time?
That's
I would
so
need a
exhausting.
break.
Yeah. Try a
Something
Vons.
calm. Yeah, go to
or something.
Vons. Even Vons sometimes. Anyway. And then I booked a camp spot that was out.
I can't believe
here
we're
in
still
Santa
telling
Barbara.
this story. This is insane.
My voice, the fact that I just now realized not only have I publicly shit on Trader Joe's, but now I'm shitting on Walmart, and then proceeded to say, well, even Vaughn sucks. So I'm just really not a happy person when it comes to grocery stores. You can clearly tell that that's my least favorite activity to do. And then I start to like increasingly like raise my voice, and then we try to like go to the next subject, and I'm like, and then the camping trip, I just booked this reservation online. God, it's so annoying. Anyway, let's hear more about what we just already explained.
Bruh. Well, like in where are we? Los Padres National Forest. And it said that it was going to take it said when I booked the campsite, just to clarify, when I booked the campsite, it did say 3 hours, like 3.5. So I was like, okay, this is fine.
Not
We had
present.
decided like, okay, if we leave like 1 or 2, we'll get there. We'll be able to set up, eat some dinner, relax.
Why do we feel that we need to talk about every detail of this trip? We're still on day 1 in the story. We haven't even gotten to the campsite yet. And I don't even know how many minutes in we are, but this is insane. This is actually insane.
We're going to leave at 12 to 1 and then drive in this direction. Wow, I should just really post my agenda that I had. Jesus Lord.
The sunset, whatever. We leave at like what, like 1:30, if that. It was maybe like 1:15. It literally says it's going to take us 5
15-minute
hours to get there. It takes us 7.5 hours to get here. We stop once.
Oh my God.
What is that laugh? The most stoner laugh.
Literally.
It's for gas. No,
Which,
yeah.
I did take us to a Costco. We waited in the Costco line. Turns out you have to actually have the physical card with you, which I have a Costco card on my phone. So that was annoying, and I felt really embarrassed.
Oh my God, don't feel embarrassed. I honestly forgot about that. The gas was fine, and then we stopped again for food, which was fine. Those chicken nuggets were hot as hell. But
Oh yeah,
so
we went to
good.
Monty's, which was like kind of scary because Monty's is like a poppin' spot in LA.
And that
and there was not a
place
single
was
soul.
dead. The windows were like tinted to go in. It looked really scary. It looked like an apocalypse. Anyway, and then we hit traffic, and so we finally get off our exit, and we're making a turn to our exit, and we're waiting in another traffic line, and a semi is like backing up when he should be going forward, and then all of a sudden we see cops, and he's like, sorry, you can't turn, so we have to go all the way up the road. It was like 9:30 at night and when we got here. Thank God we stopped and got food.
Yeah.
And we just like
Thank
set up
God.
and went to bed. And well, I was like, I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna have a smoke, watch the moon rise, and it is literally a tornado. Like fully,
Craziest wind.
like it literally felt like someone was just outside.
My tent was just
shaking.
folding onto me.
I felt like in Everest when they're like on the side of the mountain. I'm like, this is
Yeah,
crazy.
That was wild.
And the dogs would not get an inch of sleep.
And then
So that was the night.
It was a long night. We woke up and
My
it was such
eyes
a
are
good
also
day.
like this.
It's been so good.
I know.
There's
What
a
has
little
been
river here.
Little
Sorry, what?
Yeah, what has been like
Openings.
your favorite thing about this spot so far?
Honestly, putting our hammocks up by the river has been so relaxing.
I know.
Like I could just lay there.
With it bubbling like right next to us. It's like literally a sound on what my sound machine has.
I hate it.
I'm really trying to.
it's like literally a sound on my sound machine.
I really felt like there was like marshmallows in my mouth when I talk. I'm like, oh God. My resting bitch face is bad. I love it.
I don't think it's bad. I think your face is
I think the
great.
flies were really hard to manage.
Yeah, me talking, I'm like
The hair, this little spot. I love it.
Listen, these flies are just so annoying. Anyway, what's been your favorite part?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed painting at the river. What? I'm trying.
Just literally in my- Painting in the river.
The painting at the river. The hike today surprised me. I don't know what we're laughing at. Did someone see us?
No, I don't know.
Someone see it.
What?
Nothing. And now I'm self-conscious. Keep
No,
going.
what? Don't be.
I don't know. I'm just laughing. I can't
I
stop.
couldn't control it.
I was just gonna say the hike today really surprised me.
Yeah.
I did not realize it was.
We have said one sentence. We haven't even had a complete thought.
The hike today really surprised you. It was really nice.
Yeah, well, I
wasn't
also didn't
too
realize
strenuous.
it was a 10-mile hike. I thought we'd only I thought we'd only gone like 2.5 miles, maybe.
No, that's why I was like, is there a destination?
I was afraid when you asked that. Like, I thought you were like trying to get there with purpose, and I was like, I thought when I was like, no, just turn around, whatever. You were like, oh.
And then you were like, yeah, I won.
Because I wanted to be going somewhere.
I didn't. This was all that they had.
No, this was
Okay.
good. It was
Context, guys. We were at a campsite. I know I asked, where are we? We were literally at this nice campsite, and there was like a creek. It was beautiful. We spent our time like hanging up our hammocks. We painted by the river. That's what that 5 minutes of me trying to explain was. It was very beautiful. And then on our last full day there, we had decided to like explore and go on a trail. And the trail was just like up technically to this mountain, but we ended up just like walking. So again, I don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but we look like we're having a great time. So
We were. That's the hardest I've laughed in a long
same.
time.
I really needed it, but it is delusional. Like
Delusional. Delulu.
delulu.
good.
Anyway,
Surprised me too.
if you could hear anything from that. We did find a destination, and it was a little creek. Just like 2 mountains.
And you saw a snake?
I saw a snake. It looked like a baby rattlesnake, though. I honestly couldn't tell you what a rattlesnake looked like. It just, like, the way that it was laying. My direction awareness. It was 2 mountains.
And I'm just like, yeah. And then you
2 mountains.
You're like, and I don't even know what a rattlesnake looks like, but it looked like a rattlesnake.
My thought process was the pattern of a rattlesnake. I don't know what a pattern. Do they have a rattle? I just know that there's a rattle at the end of their tail, and that's what it looked like. That was my thought process. The 2 mountains part, it was 2 mountains in, I guess, was my thoughts. I don't know.
I had no idea. I thought you were saying the river is between 2 mountains.
Obviously. It's not. The river is directly on top of the mountain.
Wow. I hope you got something from that.
Like, little inch of its tail, the end of the tail looked different than the rest of it. So I was like, rattlesnake.
I've gotten into a weird TikTok side of the internet recently.
Of snakes?
Which is like marsh people. Like people that like go out in the swamps in like Florida.
Oh my God, like Florida people?
And like swim with like whatever creatures are down there like in the night.
I know, because your first instinct was like, is it a river snake? And I was like, no. I think it's way too cold for any sort.
Well, because in the marshes in Florida, they have them.
Wow, that makes so much sense.
I'm just watching those videos.
Literally, is it a river snake?
I can't believe they're actually really crazy. They're like scooping up the snakes and like crocodiles. They're just swimming with them.
Oh, wow.
It's wild.
Yeah.
For context on that clip, Ellie saw a snake. I said, "Is it a river snake?" She said, "No, I think it's a rattlesnake." That is that story.
That's start to finish what happened.
But instead, we're crying over the marsh people in Florida.
Well, I really didn't know. And then I was like thinking, when you said that, it all clicked together. Like, why did she ask if it was a river snake? So it makes sense, sort of, ish.
It is an interesting side of TikTok. I would recommend if you want to see the critters.
But I've been writing down my thoughts for the last like.
Oh my God, I forgot about
since we got back from our hike.
Yeah.
And I thought we could do some camping thoughts.
Oh my God, I love camping thoughts.
Okay. First one, our quinceañera is only Mexican. Yes.
I just gotta say, the way that I phrased that question.
Also, I thought you were talking about camping thoughts as in like their theme was camping. And then you opened it, our quince is only Mexican. And I was like, what? I thought this was going to be like, what kind of wood should you use for a fire?
No.
Yeah.
They're just the random thoughts that were going into my mind while you're camping.
Right. Which is understandable now. Anyways, yeah.
I just like, hopefully this makes sense.
Do Cubans have quinceañeras?
That's why I was like losing my
I don't
mind.
know
I was
what
like,
I was
what?
expecting, and that was not it.
I've been watching a lot of like bar mitzvah stuff recently.
Okay.
Like the new Netflix movie, You're
So
So Not Invited.
Invited.
And then in my book, she had a bar mitzvah. It's bat
Mitzvahs. I don't know how to fucking say it. Sorry, I'm like.
But that's like Jewish.
Yeah.
But a quinceañera is like,
Yummy.
But that's like Jewish.
But a quinceañera is like, oh, what is it?
coming of age, not for Catholicism, right? It's like a.
I have no idea. I mean, like, I feel like we did have like a quince, but it was not. It feels very like Mexican to me. For us, I feel like I don't know. I feel like
I
we
speak.
talked about it.
I'm
but I
half
never really
Cuban,
did
and now I'm
anything.
like,
my parents were not. My mom is not a birthday person, so I don't feel like it would have been that like extravagant.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't think any Cubans. I honestly have no idea.
Dang it.
Sorry.
I thought you of all people would know. You of all two of us would know.
The moment I said that, I just, in my mind, I was like, of all people, it's like between you and I, you would know more than I would. But when I said that, I was like, that is so offensive.
No, I did not think of it was offensive at all. I just am baffled by how many times I said I don't know. Why can't I just say I don't know and then let's move on? Why do I need to give this whole spiel of my people? Oh God. Okay. Whatever, Ellie.
The reason these are camping thoughts too is because you can't just look it up. We had to just guess. And the guess was we don't know.
I feel
Here I go.
like it wouldn't be weird if we did, but when I think of like a quince for like, yeah, it's not religious reasons. That's why I'm like, I feel like it's culturally, and the culture is Mexican or Central America. I feel not really.
What am I saying?
Did they do quinces in Peru?
I don't
Did they?
remember.
Because
I don't know that I was invited to a 15-year-old's birthday
Yeah, that would
party.
be weird. I didn't know if they had like advertisements or something.
I do feel like I see those like dress shops, but
Same.
I don't know. I don't know that I saw them in Peru. I don't know.
No.
Just a random thought.
I don't
Okay,
know
the
either.
second one. When was the gold rush, and was it only in Northern California?
Good question.
It was in the 1800s, right?
Yeah. And I feel like, yeah, when you think of the gold rush is here in California.
But only in Northern California.
the golden rush is here. Right where we are.
Or is it the whole state of California has gold?
Well, I feel like the history on that is probably very, very, like, because there were probably still like natives and Mexicans here, so they probably didn't want to come to South or the history didn't write white man coming down here, but I'm sure they did and took everything.
Yeah.
They did.
There's, like,
they did. I'm sure if they did.
But
They
when
did.
I only think of like history down here,
I'm just a little confused because were you talking about the gold rush or were you just talking about like gold in general?
I don't know. My mind was thinking, I think, the difference between Northern California and Southern California. And I felt like when the gold rush was happening, Northern California, was already pretty like settled. I still feel like but then I start talking about like mission. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know
Let's
what.
listen, because I don't remember what you said.
just think of like missionaries. So I feel like they must have come here for gold and like settled
From and
overtook
for gold.
everything and then started that missionary shit. Because there are all those like churches.
Yeah, like the Spanish. Okay.
How did we get here?
I feel like that's must be where it started.
Yeah. But that was
Started with
before
missionaries.
people came out west, like from the east, right? That was like Spaniards.
Yeah, but I feel like people have been moving around way more than we think they have been. It wasn't like
Yeah.
all of a sudden
Can we
gold rush,
not-
everybody
I
came
just wanna
here. I feel like
close the
people were
curtain.
here.
Well, yeah, I think it was more of just like,
God, we are probably like so dumb.
are we canceling ourselves? With
I
this
have
episode?
no idea.
Sorry, these are just the thoughts, and I can't Google them. So
Well, I can't either. I listened to an audiobook once of, it was called,
My thoughts are that I'm dumb as fuck, and
No, you're
two,
not.
that during the gold rush, people did more north because it was settled. They didn't want to come down because it was the argument between whose land is what. And so I feel like that when
I
you
see
thought of
what you're
coming of
saying.
like the quick money,
Yeah.
you're going to go to where white men had already like basically destroyed. I still feel like there was culture here
Mhm.
during this time rather than in North America. White people kind of just already wiped that away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense,
Yeah.
guys? Fuck me, dead. I don't even know what I'm saying.
1741 or something like that. And the idea of it was like history told by historians, like the unwritten history of
1714. I meant
New America and how like
fucking
America.
idiot. I'm an idiot.
1741 History told by historians.
I'm walking away now. The book is okay. The book is literally about fucking Christopher Columbus. I just said 1741.
1472? Columbus sailed the ocean blue?
Yeah. So it's called 1471, the year before. It's a play on the history. I butchered it. Okay. I'm so annoyed with
I'm literally
myself.
just, I don't
You're
know
vibing.
anything. I'm
You're
like,
like, yeah, that sounds right. After the American Revolution, that's when Christopher Columbus came in and fucking founded the New World. Smart.
Really new. It's like one of the oldest, like the cultures here are probably one of the oldest, and like New America is like more like Europe and everything. Like it's opposite, but the reason why, sorry, those like people are walking by. Anyway, about how, like there were like millions
I realize that I don't know what I'm talking about, and now I'm stalling.
of people living here, and the reason why people think of it now as like the New World is because white people completely erased the history and rewrote a new history to make themselves look better. Like, oh, we did kill the people here, but it was only
we
like
just erase all
hundreds
of it?
instead of like millions, instead of like, you know, you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So that's why I'm like,
I mean,
I'm confused by the history because I feel like what I've been told isn't really like the truth of like
only
what
really
the
tiny
land
version.
was. Yeah, exactly. These
Interesting.
flies. Anyway, next camping thought.
Well, I do have on here, do flies know that they're being annoying? Like, you know how in Bug's Life, like, they, like, have thoughts and they're, like, intentional. Like, do flies know that they're, like, really irritating?
I feel like
you can't be talking shit on yourself when I say that. When I say in Bug's Life, they're intentional. Do you think they do that here?
In this land?
This world?
on like my realist side of me, I'm like, Erica. But then sometimes I'm like, the world can't be that bland. Like, but then why are there flies? Like, is there any brain in them? Why do they exist?
I mean, I feel like everything exists for, like, I don't know, something feeds off of another thing that feeds, they help with, like, decomposing or something. But, like, just them, like, being around us right now.
I feel like
Going in my ear, like,
that's what
why?
scares me is like, I know that to me, they equal like death or that like, you know, so I'm like, they are so interested because they smell like what could get rotten. And I'm like, ugh.
Oh, gosh, that's a deep thought. That's really
The first one of
not
the
what I
day.
was thinking, but that is a good one.
I don't think they know that they're being annoying now. I just feel like they're just going to what smells good, and we smell good to them.
We smell good as in bad.
Yeah, as in bad.
Because we haven't showered for 3 days.
Yeah, seriously.
Are there testing kits for plants? Thinking along the lines of like, like, you know, with cocaine, how you can like test it to like see if it's laced with stuff. Like for plants, can you do that to see if they're poisonous?
I have no idea. But you know what I think about all the time?
What?
And this is more of a high thought than a camping thought, is like,
I mean, aren't they one and the same?
probably they are, but like somebody just like out there just like, we had to know that shit was poisonous, so they just keeled over and died, and it happened a bunch of times, and people were like, they can't
That's
eat
where
that
that thought
plant?
came from, because I was thinking about that exact thing, and then I was like, we don't still do that today. But we can't know every plant, do we?
I have no idea. I feel like we don't know all the species of animals and bugs and stuff. Oh my god.
All right, this one's a little bit out there, but what actually makes wind?
Huh.
These are fun. Progressively get more.
Like, why does it just randomly come? You know?
Looking
I feel
around.
like
I'm literally looking
You're like a philosopher.
trying to find the answer.
You look like you're this is so deep in thought. Look at me. I'm just like, Ellie will figure it out.
I did a science project on this.
Oh, really? Wow. What was did you make a science fair like board?
Yeah, it was about weather.
Wow.
I think
okay, so you
so.
should know this.
I don't. I have no idea. To me, it's an angel just going,
I like that.
I
or
did
like,
not say that.
I don't know. I have some force of nature striking us with its wrath.
Just a gentle breeze, though.
I have no idea where does it come from. Like,
I don't know.
Like scientifically.
Hot, something with the heat, maybe. Cooling
But it's
and
cooled.
heating. I don't know. Okay,
But then, like, that's weird though, because why is Chicago the windiest city? Or the windy city?
aren't they like really cold and really hot in the summer?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I feel like it's generally like.
And same.
I hope if we keep this in that people are listening the same as how our faces are like showing that we're listening, because we're just really trying to follow. At least
Our
I am really trying to follow. Where is my head? Where is my mind at? What are the thoughts going on in there? Because
Well, this is it. This is brain. This is it. This is what I'm scared of. Because I'm like, this is when everything is wiped clean, that's what's left. Jeez, Louise. Lord help us all.
With
heating and
Nevada.
cooling.
But Nevada's because, sorry,
valley.
of the valley.
Yeah. Wait, do I have something?
No, I was choking on my gum. Wow. Okay.
Do you want more of these? Because
Yeah.
I got a few more.
I was just really thinking.
Do you think being in a hammock feels like how it did being in your mother's womb?
No. Well,
Really? Because when I was laying in the hammock, I wanted to be in like the fetal position or whatever. You know, like when a baby's in that position. And I was like, you're like weightless. You don't feel like anything.
for me, I feel like when I feel like that is when I'm like, I don't know. No, I feel more like I was flying, like suspended. Because it doesn't really provide any like warmth. I mean, it's comfortable, but it's comfortable because I'm like suspended.
Yeah. But aren't you suspended in your mom's stomach?
For me, I just feel like suffocated.
In a hammock?
No, like if
Oh.
I think of like being in there, I'm like, that is like
Yeah, that
too
would be very
hot.
comfortable.
hot.
really
Yeah, and like
sad.
I think of that if I'm in my sleeping bag with like a bunch of blankets and shit. Like this is what it was like when I was like warm and cuddly.
Yeah.
That's a nicer way of me to say it rather than suffocating. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Mom.
Would you rather get a plastic cut, like a cut from like the side of, like sharp plastic, or from a cardboard box?
I hate this.
Yeah, they're both awful.
Oh.
I thought of it because I cut my finger on the plastic
really
container
upset
of
about
the raspberries. And then I was like, ow, this hurts. But you know what would hurt worse? A box cut. But then I was like, would it?
Actually, I don't know. I feel like I would rather.
I feel like plastic cuts get deeper, but box cuts just sting.
I guess, yeah. Maybe a box cut then.
You'd rather have
Just
that?
deal with the sting. Because when that shit cuts so deep, it's like, I can feel it.
Wow, Ellie.
That was the
Look,
last.
that was my ay.
Those are my camping thoughts.
Oh my gosh. Those are good though. The wind ones, I'm still kind of thinking about that.
Yeah. I feel like when you don't have your phone and you can't actually look something up, I would have asked you them in the moment, but I was like, I should
No,
save
this is
these
good.
for live
Yeah.
content.
I liked your camping thoughts. I feel like I have only been thinking about. Okay, when I camp, I think about, like, I fantasize. I don't know if you do that. That sounds like really bad, but
No.
I feel like, because I think so much about what my life is like, and I'm going through some like work shit, and like you just think about where you're at in life, like work and dating.
The flies on the camera are off. Like when they come zooming by, like a freaking pterodactyl, I'm like, wow.
also, isn't it so funny that this was literally like a week ago, and I'm like, Erica, like just how much you like change in a week, or like maybe when you're not like camping and like taking
looking
things and like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, wow, this conversation. I'm glad we didn't just upload this because wow.
just like
If you've made it this far, thanks for joining us on this journey.
it's just like our conversation has gone for it's not even a conversation. I feel like I'm just talking and then you're just talking and we're somehow trying to meet in the middle. And then now the next gazillion minutes are just going to be me trying to formulate a thought about how who knows what the fuck is going to come.
I can't wait. I don't remember.
And where you live and all this stuff. And so when I'm camping, I'm like, what if I did this? Or like, what if life looked like this? And I feel like when we were hiking today, that's all I did. So instead of thinking about like the wind and poisonous plants, I was more so like, what if I just like, I go so far on the spectrum. I'm like, what about if I just lived like this? Like if I just...
I think about that every time I go camping.
If someone just like, if you could just fly me a supply of food, like maybe once a month, I mean, I'd do pretty good here.
Well, that's why I feel like I would like to do the PCT.
Yeah.
Because you literally just are doing this. I mean, it's a lot of hiking, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, you have your little stations where you get resupplied and then you keep going.
Yeah. I know.
And
the only reason why I feel like I haven't done that is because of the dogs. I also feel too like you have to plan all of that.
yeah.
Like I have to, someone has to sit down and like plan a month. No, well, depending on how much you do it for. But if you do from like Mexico to Canada, that's like months of planning of when. Oh God, that sounds so draining.
So that's not like a camping trip.
I
or
feel
something.
more, as much as I fucking hated this book, or I didn't hate the book, I just hated the character in it.
Into the Wild.
Into the Wild. Sometimes I'm like, I just feel like maybe I should just do that, even though I hated
What
the
did
book.
he do again?
He just
like
left.
burned all his
he
money
burned
and
all of his money,
went
which
and
one
died
I
in
would
a van.
never do. I would never burn all of my money. I would give it away. Who the fuck? That's one I hold. Ugh, I don't like that character. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more like I could just live.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, can I though?
That's the thing is like I really do enjoy like
Live?
human connection.
That's my thought.
Yeah. I
Like-
just feel like, yeah.
I know that I would be fully okay out in like the wild, but I
Fully.
think I would miss that.
Okay.
Sorry to bore you.
Sorry, my ears are like.
No, I'm just teasing.
Also, Ellie was like sick this whole time.
Yeah.
So it's gonna add to the. I feel like your
Like
brain was
sniffling and
congested
coughing and having medicine and
yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God, wow. And my thought is I would just live.
I do get what you're saying though, because that's what we were doing. We were literally just living. We weren't stressed about work. We weren't stressed about other things. Like we were like, let's go to the river. Like what we wanted to do, we did.
Yeah.
Let's take a nap.
Yeah.
Let's go on a hike. And we just did it.
I feel like too, now that I've stepped away from camping, like out of this moment, my thoughts were more so like I have all of these thoughts that go through because I'm not on my phone or whatever. So I do have those camping thoughts. But for me, it was really hard to like actively think about like, oh, okay, this is what my question is or what I'm thinking about. Let me write them down.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just the thing about camping is it's so much easier to like you're just taking in your input
Like
from
a
your
stream
brain.
of consciousness.
Yes. And then you're able to like let it go. Where I feel like when you're not camping, it's all of the input that you're getting from life and your brain. And it's at least for me a lot harder for me to like let go of things. So it was like even on the hike that we did that day when I'm sure like I was thinking about all of the same dumb questions that you were or just like thoughts. I was just like, oh, letting it go. And then I'm like, I do get where I'm talking about like fantasizing and stuff, but like my thoughts are just not coming together the way that I want them to. It's giving me a headache.
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So that's one end of your spectrum.
Yeah. And then I also think too, like, I don't know. So anyway, I fantasize, but I also just am like, feel like the only thing I think about while I camp is my real life. And like, how am I going to go? It sounds so like morbid, but like, how am I going to go back and like face my life? And I like, love camping so much, but today in the hammock, not all I was thinking about, but for like a little bit of the time, I was like just dreading, oh my God, I have to go back. Like, we drive back tomorrow, and then I go back on Tuesday. We drive back tomorrow. And it was like a circle going over and over in my head. And I'm like, why can't I just enjoy the moment right now? Why is that so difficult for me?
I feel like that's like the practice of meditation, like in and of itself is that. And that is so difficult.
I know. I feel like I didn't really feel that way yesterday, though.
I think it's just more of probably the time getting closer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have such a big thing on that. It feels like a Sunday.
It is.
Yeah. You're right. It is.
What do you mean?
It's just like
like the Sunday scaries?
Yeah. Even though we have tomorrow off, but
No, I get that. I keep like replaying in my mind like that I don't have a job and what does that mean and what do I do now?
Yeah.
Like it's terrifying, but also like I'm trying to like be excited about it.
yeah.
Cause it's like this was a forced hand that I need to
Did
like
not.
choose what to do with.
Yeah.
Do about. I need to choose.
What I choose to
choose how I
do
deal with
it.
it.
What?
I feel
The
like
words. I feel
it,
like
but
I can remember my brain like slowing down. I was like, this is getting really hard for me to speak.
That was me at the very beginning. When you started talking, I started realizing like, oh fuck, this is a podcast and I actually have to contribute and talk and have some sort of conversation. I was like, that's why the marshmallow, like I was just like bleh, bleh.
Well, it's hitting me here because wow.
I don't.
No.
Not at all.
I mean, like, I feel good.
I feel good.
But, like,
Yeah, I don't feel like
know.
anything.
I guess.
I guess. Can you imagine if you ate that whole bar, though? I
Oh
feel
my
like that's
God, I would
scary.
be sick.
Yeah. I mean, we're easing in. We're learning what our
Tolerances.
tolerances. Yeah.
Anyway, no, but I also feel like I'm very grateful that we planned this ahead because I feel like
Oh my God, here we go again.
so
With the
special.
fucking agenda.
It's like in the moment, it's like, oh, well, it's already a planned thing, so we're going.
Scheduled it out.
And it gets me like excited.
This is, if you guys were to open my diary or journal, this is what it would be like. Today, I wanted to leave at 12:30, but we left at 1:30, but it was actually 1:15. And then it was really nice to plan ahead. And I'm like, Jesus, oh Lord.
I do think I'd be curious if other like oldest children feel this way because I think you and we like communicate like that's like a love language.
Yeah,
of us.
yeah. Yeah.
Of like telling each other like our plans for the day. It's like a comforting thing. Like when I know what you're planning to do, or like
Literally, we'll just walk in the kitchen and be like, okay, so I think today I'm going to make my coffee and then I'm going to, I think, do the bagel and then maybe go outside, maybe beach. And then, yeah.
by like 4, I'd like to be like doing blah, blah, blah. And I love it. I love that we tell each other like, I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to go like.
No, I feel like no one else does that. When I do it in front of certain people, they're like, okay.
Go ahead. But it's like, I feel like
I like to know.
I feel like when you tell someone what you're doing it because you care about them and you want them to know what you're doing. And that's like an expression of love.
Yeah.
I think.
To lay it all out, you know?
Yeah. But we do this a lot.
Yeah.
Excited to go and plan the next one, but like in the moment, I'm like, oh, I just want to stay here forever. Or like, how do I fully relax?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we had chocolate
and gummies.
Gummies.
I mean, we must. They say this stuff all the time on podcasts.
I feel like, do they though? I honestly
I
don't
don't
know if
know.
I've heard it. I feel like they say smoke or maybe edible. I don't think I've heard mushrooms though.
Yeah.
Beep.
Oh no, the
Oh,
police.
no, the
Speaking
police. Speaking of, first of all, okay, just a side rant for a second. My first rant is the truck that was on the exit.
I knew it. I knew it. This was gonna be the first rant. Okay, what's your thought?
It is like, it gets my blood boiling because we have to go that way. Like,
Yeah.
why are you, if I fucked up, why is it like somebody else's fault. You know what I mean? Like he obviously made a turn. The semi had turned way too far into the other road and got himself stuck onto our exit. So we were trying to turn left to get to the fucking campsite, or not even, just like the road to get here off the highway. And sorry, I just got distracted. It's just so much.
By the people?
Yes. Anyway.
Why do I think people give a fuck about this and the semi? I can't
would
describe it.
Oh.
Even I can't describe what happened. Can you? No, that's not what I mean. We don't need to describe it again. I'm saying I don't know why I'm telling this story.
I think we're just giving context on, we said police, and then speaking of police, and now here are two examples of the thought that we both had at the same time that we didn't say aloud, that we're trying to convey through stories. I think it's fine.
Left onto our exit, and we couldn't turn left because the truck was blocking it. And I rolled down the window, and the cop that was like had his lights shooing us was like, can't turn. And the way that he said it and the way that he was like shining his light played over and over and over and over and over on my mind while I was driving up to the next exit. It took like 10 minutes out of our time,
No,
but I was pissed.
like, it only had it, and you're like, eh.
It went from 8 our arrival time from like 8:28 to 8:38, and I was like, wow.
I was going to say this then, I'm just going to say now, it wasn't even 10 minutes. It was less than 10 minutes.
It added an extra hour. For the next exit to be over 2 miles away to get off to reverse, hour.
So it just added an hour to our time, and Eric was like, I think it just added 10 minutes. And I was like, nope. Full seriousness. I was like, no, it didn't. It was an hour.
I did.
I was like, whatever.
And I was just like, it's
full on pedal to the metal, gassing it in my old ass car. So upset about this extra 7 minutes that's been added on. And Erica's just like, really, it's cool. No, that's not.
so upset. And I just hear my car when I step on the gas. He's like,
There we go.
Pinky out.
It's like, and I'm like, I know, girl. I'm pissed too.
At
I
least
really
your sense of
forgot.
humor is the same.
I forgot I said that, or else I wouldn't have said it again.
That's my first rant. The second rant is yesterday, while we were all relaxing, we heard a car drive around our little loop, and lo and behold,
Yeah.
is that how you say it? Lo and behold, I'm talking low, and
behold.
just
If
like
that was a
that.
cop, that would
I
be
would, if that
so
was a cop.
funny.
Anyway, car just like that came around, and it was a cop, and the guy's just like full on staring at us. I just wanted to paint a picture. It took, what, an hour off the main road just to
Yeah.
get here, and then a little like 20-minute of a dirt road. So you had to come all the way out on that paved road onto a dirt road to loop around here for what? For what? For what?
Literally,
I
I
want
was
to
like,
see if
dude,
someone is
math.
what, doing fireworks. Like that would be my like, why?
Yeah,
Or
why
did
are
someone
you-
call? But who called?
we also don't have service.
Yeah,
And you don't
you're
really have
just
This conversation by myself. I'm not even
Someone
lying.
called? Who called? Fireworks? That's what I thought. Because
Not even giving
my
you-
brain's not processing fast enough. I can't
And I'm
keep up.
talking so fast. For what? For what? For what? Like, it should be a rap. Jesus Christ.
Ooh. I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I just couldn't say it.
here.
For like a good portion of the drive over to here.
It is annoying. I just was annoyed
Yeah, it was a lot.
with your presence, but also people are gonna be like, but they were protecting me, whatever. Just,
If you're a police officer, you can educate us.
yeah, on why you're here. I guess it's like you're. Yeah, that was-
Dude, Ellie, come on now.
I meant. Well,
Yeah,
I meant what I
that's
meant.
a rabbit hole. That's a
So-
rabbit hole.
yeah. What else did I want to say?
And the kid just ruins it. I'm sorry. My brain is already fried.
Chaotic. I don't know if we can do this again.
I don't.
If we
well,
do,
this-
we have to do it where there's no flies and no people. Yeah. children.
it's embedded in here. I can't even hear myself think.
Wow.
We're done with that.
That was a journey.
If you made it this far, congratulations. You saw into our life. I also just my camping thought while doing this recording is whoever in the future decides to date either of us, congratulations to you, because you get like a full-on resume. You get to see all the shit before you sign on. You're welcome.
Literally, if you listen to the podcast,
You get a full picture. That's a full
Yeah.
picture. That is me not showered, delusional, and
no sleep.
and also sick, no sleep, and also thinking like, oh, I'm making perfect sense right now. I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm the smartest person in the room.
We're so funny.
And everybody loves us. Let's just do a podcast outside. Wow.
So we probably won't be doing that again.
I don't
mean,
know. We'll see. You guys tell us if that's something that we need to do again. Because now that I'm like looking at it, it's kind of funny. But
It's
also,
funny, but like we need to do it way better. Like I said, no people around, no flies, and we need our brains to be
fully
firing.
there. Yeah.
Because camping, you have camping thoughts.
Yeah.
When you're out in nature, and we should probably do it like the second day, not the third. Well,
When
yeah.
we're like completely gone and
Yeah.
just. Anyway, it was a really, really nice camping trip.
Would recommend squeezing one in before winter comes.
Yes, definitely. And record yourself.
And
Do your
record
little
it.
like voice memos. It's really fun.
It is fun. Our friend does voice memos, and I love it. Like when June goes back and like shows like some random like voice recording that
I
she
love
has
that.
of like a thought, I'm like, that's so fun that you just like are recording yourself, and then you have it's like a digital diary.
Yeah.
Another diary.
Well, that was our digital diary entry for the week, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, please go subscribe to us on YouTube and subscribe and rate the podcast if you listen this far, because that's how we grow, and we really don't actually close out with that often. So when we do, maybe take an extra 30 seconds to do that.
Yeah,
Would
go
be
follow
really
us on
nice.
social media too. That's where we do a lot of like polls and outreach and hear your guys' feedback on what you guys want to listen to, because that's fun.
Thank you.
Love you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.